Hey everybody, this is Pooja and welcome back to my channel Economics, where I simplify concepts and theories related to the economic subject. In this video, we'll learn about Cournot's model of duopoly. Now, let me just introduce you to it real quick. This graph seems scary and confusing, right? But don't panic, I've got you covered.
Okay.
I'll guide you step by step and show you exactly what to draw, when, and how. So stick with me until the end. And trust me, by the time we are done, you'll not only understand it but also master drawing it like a pro. Before we start with the theory, let's quickly understand what exactly a duopoly is. A duopoly is a concentrated form of oligopoly. But wait, what is an oligopoly? I won't go into the details of market types here, but just for a quick reference, we have this flowchart. If you want a detailed video on market forms, let me know in the comments. You might remember studying that market structures are broadly classified into perfect and imperfect competition. Under imperfect competition, we have monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopsony. It's under this oligopoly category that we find duopoly, where there are exactly two firms operating in the market. A duopoly is a market structure dominated by two firms. Now, a pure duopoly means there are just two firms in the market. But in reality, most duopolies are markets where the two biggest firms control over 70% of the market share. An example for duopoly is the cola market, where Coca-Cola and Pepsi dominate. Other brands like Campa exist but does not control the market. For this theory, however, we'll stick to only two firms operating in the market. Moving on, there are various approaches to determine price and output under an oligopoly market. These can be categorized into four broad bases. The first approach is to ignore interdependence, where we study models given by Cournot, Bertrand, and Edgeworth. Second approach is to predict the reaction patterns, which includes model given by Chamberlain and the King demand curve theory. Third approach is the cooperative behavior, where we see firms forming cartels or following a price leader. Fourth approach is the game theory, where we study about strategies and other concepts like prisoner's dilemma, folk theorem, etc. Now, let's begin with the Cournot's model. This model was given by a French economist named Augustin Cournot in 1838. It's one of the three classical models of the oligopoly market, the other two being models by Bertrand and Edgeworth. What makes these models unique is that they all rely on the assumption of zero conjectural variation. That means each firm in the market assumes that its rival will not react to any changes it makes, such as altering its output. Essentially, the Cournot model disregards mutual interdependence between firms, focusing instead on their individual decisions. Cournot takes the case of two identical mineral springs operated by two owners who are selling their mineral water in the same market. Their waters are identical, as shown in the picture here. Moving ahead, this model is based on certain assumptions. The first assumption, which says that the market consists of only two firms, let's say A and B, which are producing a homogeneous product, that is water. Second assumption is that both the firms are aiming to maximize their profits.
पैसा ही पैसा होगा.
Third is that the owners are operating mineral springs and selling water without any cost of production. Fourth is that the market demand is fixed and both the firms are actually aware of how much demand is existing. Also, the market demand curve is a straight line and linear. Fifth assumption says that each firm assumes that its rival will maintain its current level of output and adjusts its own production accordingly. And this concept we have already discussed called zero conjectural variation. Sixth assumption is that both the firms make decisions independently and simultaneously. Both the firms will not be coming together to produce the output, so they won't cooperate and instead they will take their decisions independently. In terms of simultaneously, as we all know that both the firms are here for profit maximization. So firm A will take decisions accordingly to earn maximum profits. Firm B will also do the same. So both these firms will make decisions and these decisions will be made simultaneously, which at the end they will reach at a point of equilibrium about which we'll study in the theory. Next, we come to the most important assumption, which says that the firm will earn maximum profits by producing output equal to half of what we get after deducting rival firms' current output. from the total output. Now, we are done with the assumptions of this theory. Moving ahead, I will be explaining this theory using some numbers and basic maths. Also, please ensure that you have read assumption number 7 and just keep a note of it because we would be using this for calculating the output level of firms. Assuming the whole market demand to be 1, so A will produce half of the market demand, that is half of 1, which is 1 by 2. Firm A is the only producer as of now producing half the quantity of the market demand. So, since it's the only producer, so it has priced its product at a high rate. As we all know that in a monopoly scene, the firm is a price maker, and it's the firm who decides the price. So here, the price at which A will be selling 1 by 2 quantity of the market demand would be termed as the monopoly price. As you must have noticed in the real world that when an industry flourishes, when an industry starts making profits and it people notice it, firms notice it, so the new firms are tempted to join that industry. Why? Again, with the view or with the aim to earn more profits. Likewise, in this theory, firm B comes in. Since this is a case of duopoly, so two firms are only considered. So firm B notices that firm A is enjoying a monopoly price and profit. So firm B is tempted to join the market to produce the same good and earn profits. So now as B has now entered the market, we need to find out how much or at what level of output will B produce when we have assumed that the market demand is 1 and A is already producing 1 by 2. So, as per the assumption, like in the assumption, we have studied how to calculate the output level, which is half of what we get after deducting the rival's output level from the total output. So, B will produce half of market demand minus quantity produced by A. At the end, we get 1 by 4. So, B will produce 1 by 4 when it has entered in the market, where already A was producing 1 by 2 with the total market demand being 1. Since both the firms are now producing, so supply has increased. And as a basic concept of economics, we know that when supply increases, it leads to a decline in prices, and so the profits will also fall. So, what exactly has happened? We have started with the case with firm A, the only producer in the market, enjoying monopoly and pricing at a very high rate, which is the monopoly price, earning profits. Seeing this, B joins in to earn profits, because of which supply has increased. As a consequence of it, it has led to a decline in the prices and profits of the output. So, as a consequence of it, A's profits have reduced because of B's production of the same good. Since under the assumptions we have this thing that both the firms are here for profit maximization motive and A's profits have reduced, so don't you think A will consider doing something to get back its profits or to earn profits? So firm A will reconsider the situation now and will change its output to such a level where it earns profits. So now we need to calculate the A's output level. And again, we would be using the same formula which we have discussed before. That is half of what we get after deducting the rival's output level from the total output. So firm B is producing 1 by 4 and deducting this 1 by 4 from the total market demand, which is 1, we get 3 by 4. So A will produce half of 3 by 4, which is 3 by 8. So we can conclude here that A, with the aim to earn profits, it has reduced its output from 1 by 2 to 3 by 8. And as we know, as per the basic concepts of economics, when supply falls, when there's a shortage of supply of the goods in the market, the prices increase. So A has used this tactic by reducing output to increase the prices so as to earn more profits. B again notices that A has started earning profits more than him. So B will now try to reconsider the situation. And now we'll calculate the new level of output for firm B using the same formula. So we have half of 1 minus 3 by 8, and we get half of 5 by 8, which is 5 by 16. So now B will produce 5 by 16. What we can see here is that A is reducing output while B is getting the opportunity to increase the output. B has increased its output. Again, it will lead to a decline in profits for firm A. So A will reconsider it. Then seeing this, B will reconsider it too. So this adjustment and readjustment will take place for several rounds until they reach at a point where they would be making or producing same level of output. And that number would be 1 by 3. So firm A would be producing 1 by 3 and firm B would be producing 1 by 3. It is at this point where both the firms will not have any intention to change their output level. They will not have any incentive if they change their output level. So at 1 by 3 level, they will stop this process of adjustment and readjustment. We are done with this explanation of the theory with respect to numbers and basic maths. Now, proceeding further, we would be explaining graph here. In the picture, the MD curve represents the total demand for mineral water. It is assumed to be linear, meaning as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, and this is happening proportionally, like we have discussed in the assumptions. And in imperfect competition, as we all know that firms are price makers, and it's the firm controlling the price and quantity. So the MD curve also represents the average revenue curve, right? Now, assuming that producer A of this model starts the business first, he's the only producer catering or fulfilling the demand of mineral water in the market. So we can say that A is the monopolist at present. Now we need to find out at what level of output and price this monopolist, that is firm A, will earn maximum profits. We'll figure this out using MRMC approach, and because we will get the required output level and price level at the point where MR would be equal to MC. So starting with drawing of the MR curve, as we all know that under imperfect competition market, MR is always less than AR, and with a very unique feature that when AR is linear, as we have it here, MR also becomes linear, but the MR falls at twice the rate. So MR will be linear and steeper. Here we have the MR curve for firm A, which starts at the same price on the y-axis as the demand curve, but intersects the x-axis at point N, which is exactly half of OD. Now, coming to the MC curve, as this model assumes cost of production to be zero, so marginal cost is zero. Therefore, the x-axis represents the MC. So, using the MRMC approach, the profit maximizing output level for firm A occurs where MR is equals to MC. And on the graph, this point is at point N, where MR intersects the x-axis, which represents the MC curve. So this whole MC curves is on the x-axis. So MC and MR would be equal at point N, where both are zero due to the assumption of no cost of production. From point N, we observe that firm A produces ON output at a price of OP. Since firm A is the only producer in the market at this stage, the price OP is referred to as the monopoly price, and the profit earned by firm A would be the area represented by ONKP. Now, imagine firm B observing firm A's monopoly and wants to earn profits like firm A. So it decides to enter the market and starts producing mineral water, which is the same good, homogeneous, identical, right? The market structure will now transition from monopoly to duopoly. Firm B must now decide its production, output, and price. As per this model's assumption, which says that the rival firm will keep its output constant, the concept of zero conjectural variation, which we discussed before. So, assuming firm A continues to produce a fixed amount, ON, firm B will cater to the market demand left, that is, the KD segment of the market demand. So, KD segment becomes the average revenue curve for firm B. Following the same methodology, the MR curve for firm B can be derived by dividing the segment ND into two equal halves, by which we get point H. Consequently, firm B's output level is NH. So now, as both the firms A and B are producing collectively, so the collective output would be ON plus NH, which equals to OH. So OH is the total output which is being produced collectively. As the model assumes a linear market demand curve, so increasing output from ON to OH reduces the market price from OP to OP1. This perfectly aligns with the assumption that an increase in quantity causes a price decrease. Earlier, when only A was producing, it was earning profits of ONKP. But now the total profits made by the two producers will be OHLP1, which is, of course, less than ONKP, or the profits which A was earning it earlier. Out of this total profit of OHLP1, profits for firm A would be ONGP1, while for firm B it would be NHLG. As we noticed that price has fallen after firm B has joined the market. So profits of firm A reduced from ONKP to ONGP1. Since the firm's motive here is profit maximization, but A's profit, as we can see, has fallen because of B. So A will reconsider the situation with the motive to earn profits. Again, zero conjectural variation coming into this situation. Now, firm A will assume that firm B will not react if A decides to or plans to change the ON level of output. Firm A will assume that firm B will continue producing NH quantity of output if it changes its output from ON to something else. Now, what will firm A produce after reconsidering the situation with the aim to earn profits? Again, using the formula which we have been using it till now. So, with firm B producing NH output, the best that the firm A can do is to produce half of what we would be getting after deducting B's output from total output. So, half of OD minus NH. So, A decided to reduce its output level to increase price and thus profits. The total output will fall, so supply decreases, and as supply decreases, with demand assumed to be constant here, the prices will increase, and so will the profits. Now, firm B sees that firm A is earning more profits than him, so firm B again, with the aim of maximizing profits, it will increase its output. So total output again will increase. B will start earning more profits. So again, firm A will therefore reconsider his position. This process of adjustment and readjustment, where firm A reduces its output to earn more profits, firm B will increase its output again with same motive, that is profit maximization. So this process will continue until the total output is produced at such a level where each firm is producing the same level of output, which would be, please make a note of it, which would be one third of the total demand, as we saw in the theory's explanation where we used numbers. On the graph, after adjustment and readjustment between the two firms, we will reach at a total output level of OT, which is two-thirds of OD, and each firm is producing the same amount of output equal to one-third of OD. In this final position, firm A produces OC level of output, and firm B produces CT amount of output, and OC is equals to CT. Throughout this process, each firm assumes that the other will keep his output constant at the present level and then always finds his maximum profit by producing output is equals to half of what we get after excluding the present output of the other from the total output. So this was all about the Cournot's model of duopoly, where firm A started, he was the only one producing in the market, enjoying the monopoly price and profit, producing at ON level of output and enjoying OP price. Firm B is tempted to join in and earn the profits like firm A. When firm B joins, the total output in the market increases. As supply increases, the price will fall. As we can see in the graph, after B has joined, total output is OH at OP1 price. The price has fallen, but this adjustment and readjustment will continue taking place. This negotiation will happen, keep on happening until they will reach at a point where they both would be earning one third. So A would be producing OC level of output and B would be producing CT level of output. OC is one third of OD, CT is again one third of OD. So OD has been divided into three equal parts and two-third is being produced now in the market. Now, as we are done with this graph part, proceeding further to the criticisms, this theory has been criticized on the following grounds. Firstly, the assumption of zero conjectural variation has been criticized. In reality, firms do react to each other's decision. The Cournot model assumes zero conjectural variation, meaning firms act as if their rivals won't adjust their strategies based on their output decision. This oversimplifies real world strategic interactions. Second, says that this model is a no learning by doing model. Firms in the Cournot model are portrayed as naive, continuously assuming that their rival won't react, despite evidence to the contrary. This results in a static and a bit of unrealistic portrayal of firm behavior. Third, the assumption of linear market demand has been criticized as this treats the market as static. This fails to incorporate the dynamic nature of real world markets where demand fluctuates based on various factors like time, preferences, and external shocks. Fourth is related to the zero marginal cost assumption. This model implies that firms can produce without incurring any expenses, which is highly unrealistic. In reality, production involves costs like labor, materials, and logistics. Fifth criticism is that this model emphasizes competition based on quantities rather than price. In a real market, firms often compete based on price. So, making this assumption a narrow representation of real world competitive dynamics. Sixth criticism relates to the market entry related to one rival firm. In the theory, as we saw that when firm A was earning profits, so firm B was tempted to join in to earn profits. So here only one firm is tempted to join. In reality, abnormal or supernormal profits attract multiple firms, leading to increased competition and market saturation. Also, if you want me to make a video on abnormal and supernormal profits, do mention in the comment section. Seventh point criticizes the independent decision making because had they formed collusion, they could have maximized profits, shared monopoly gains, and optimized resource utilization. They would have been in a better position together instead of operating independently. Eighth point relates to the underutilization of resources, which is prevalent from this model. The production level stops at two-thirds of market demand, signifying inefficiency and underutilization of available resources. So, this results in a deadweight loss and deviation from optimal societal welfare. So now we are done with the criticisms. At the end, we can say that under Cournot's duopoly solution, output is two-thirds of the maximum possible output, that is purely competitive output, and price is two-thirds of the most profitable, that is monopoly price. So this model is a blend of perfect competition and monopoly. Stay tuned for all such theories. Do let me know in the comments what all theories and concepts you want me to make a video on.